Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Radha from IIT Bhaddal. Today we will discuss the module Employee Empowerment from the paper Organizational Behavior. In this module, we will discuss what is employee empowerment, what are the characteristics of an empowered organization, 6 dimensions of empowerment, guidelines for introducing empowerment, principles and benefits of empowerment, why empowerment fails in an organization, and what are the limitations of empowerment. What is employee empowerment? These days, many firms like to focus on gaining a competitive advantage in the market. New technology, innovative product designs, economies of scale, good marketing strategies, excellent consumer services, and many other elements can be the factors that add up for the advantages. Yet, human resources are the most important assets of an enterprise, as an organization's success or failure depends upon their qualifications and performance. The employees are the repository of knowledge, skills, and abilities. Unlike technologies, products, and processes, human resources of an enterprise can't be imitated by the competitors. Therefore, the employees are the most important strategic resource of a company. Empowerment is the process of passing authority and responsibility to individuals at the lower levels in the organizational hierarchy. When employees, which are the most important asset of the company, are empowered, their autonomy and confidence increase. This creates job satisfaction and it leads to the higher levels of productivity. Empowerment is the process which has evolved in response to the trend towards a greater degree of responsibility and involvement amongst employees in the running of the organization. This trend has emerged as most of the organizations have realized employee involvement and recognized the capacity of the human resources to improve and enhance business performance. Empowerment is mainly concerned with establishing and building trust between management and employees and motivating their participation. It is one of the modern concepts which are believed to improve the human element in the modern organizations with the purpose to achieve high levels of cooperation, team spirit, self-confidence, innovation, independent thinking, and entrepreneurship. Empowerment is basically a motivational concept. It is associated with enabling rather than delegating. Enabling implies the creation of conditions by management so that people can experience enhanced motivation to achieve the desired level of performance. In addition to providing conditions like offering the necessary support and reorganization, management is also expected to remove the conditions that foster powerlessness of employees. To achieve empowerment, managers should ensure that employees at the lowest hierarchical levels have the right mix of information regarding processes, quality, customer feedback, and events. They should have the right mix of knowledge related to the work and the right mix of rewards related to business results and growth within the capability and contribution to work autonomously or independently of management control and direction. Employee empowerment doesn't mean that management abandon from its responsibility of performance or for leading the organizations. Rather, in an employee empowered organization, management's responsibility comes to create and foster an environment in which it's apparent that employee input is desired and cultivated. The management must trust and communicate with employees. When employees are empowered, their autonomy and confidence increase. There are three theoretical approaches to empowerment: the socio-structural perspective, the psychological approach, and critical perspective. The socio-cultural perspective focuses its attention on developing or redesigning organizational policies, practices, and structures to give employees power, authority, and influence over their work. The psychological approach focuses on enhancing and enabling personal effectiveness by helping employees develop their sense of meaning, competency, self-determination, and impact. The critical perspective challenges the notion of employee empowerment and argues that efforts to create empowerment may really lead to more, even if less obvious, controls over employees. An empowered organization exhibits certain characteristics. For example, these organizations invest a lot of time and effort in hiring the people. This is to make sure that the new recruits can handle workplace freedom. These are flat in hierarchy. Loose guidelines are set so that workers know their decision-making parameters. Accountability is of paramount importance. Results matter more than the processes. High quality performance is always expected. Openness and strong communication is encouraged. And employee satisfaction is the core value of the organization. An empowerment process involves change, which may be very painful and frustrating for the employees. This process also takes up a lot of energy and time. Henkel has claimed that before undertaking the process of employee empowerment, an organization has to work on 6 parameters to study its current setup. A detailed information gathered about these parameters will help the top management to bring required changes in the system to successfully implement the empowerment process. The 6 dimensions of the empowerment are: first is communication. How is the information in the organization communicated? What is the tone of communication? How much information is required to be shared among employees and how much is actually shared? Second is value of people. Are people free to give their opinions and ideas in the organization? Are these ideas and opinions valued? How is it shown? How do employees respond to out-of-the-box ideas? Ambiguity. Is there tolerance for ambiguity? How do people respond to trial and error? Do people experiment? Are they allowed to experiment? How are their mistakes perceived? Concept of power. How is power perceived in the organization? Where do the power centers lie in the organization chart? Is the power shared? What level of power is distributed? Information. Do people have all the information they need? Do people share this information? Are they awarded for sharing this information? What is the level of trust among employees? Learning. Is the organization a learning organization or is it the business as usual? Information gathered on these dimensions, it can be used in designing the empowerment process and as a part of curriculum for the training program on empowerment for individuals, groups, as well as the whole organization. 3 factors influence empowerment: technology, customers, and organization. With the advancement of technology, computers and other tools can perform all the routine tasks that are formerly performed by the people. This type of tools empower employees to perform higher-end work for which creativity and initiative are required. The management should therefore provide training and information to employees so that they are able to perform beyond the routine work. Customers are becoming more and more aware. They also empower the employees by depending upon them more than ever. When such things happen in the organization, the engaged employees should be appreciated and rewarded about the work. Companies that are advanced technologically are empowering customers through internet. At the company website, the customers can make their own decisions and purchase without taking any help from employees of the organization. The organizations thus need to find better ways to serve the customers since it is easier for the customers to move to a competitor. There are certain guidelines for the organizations while introducing empowerment. It must be analyzed and understood why the organization is making this change and what it wants to achieve. As empowerment is long and slow process which induces change, very strong leaders should be selected to head such a change. There should be involvement of employees in planning how to introduce empowerment. Transition project teams should be created to test and coordinate efforts and communicate results. Employees should be provided training in new skills and behaviors. Establishing of symbols of change, and finally, achievements should be acknowledged as well as rewarded. Now let's discuss principles of empowerment. The first principle is provide the right skill set for the job. It's vital for an organization to assess the gaps between the current and the required skills. Training must be provided to the employees to improve and increase their skills. Second is grant sufficient autonomy. The second means of empowerment of employees is to provide them with adequate authority to decide on how to complete their tasks. Clearly articulate the scope of individual's job. It's paramount that employees have a clear idea of how their role fits into the overall scheme of the organization. Employees need to know their boundaries so that they don't step on others' toes or create inefficiency through redundancy. Provide adequate information and resources. Employees must have access to all the information they require in order to make informed and appropriate decisions and be able to problem solve issues. Build employees' confidence. Providing growth opportunities to the employees by giving them more challenging tasks, exhibiting greater trust and support in the employee's ability to accomplish a work assignment by not micromanaging their tasks, encouraging cross learning so that employees benefit from each other's skills and knowledge, acknowledging and rewarding the employees for their accomplishments. Guide with positive feedback. Providing positive feedback for tasks done well and guiding employees about best practices gives encouragement to the employees. Share goals and direction. When possible, involve employees in goal setting and planning. They add value, knowledge, ideas, insight, and experience that may not be available with the senior team. The goals must be measurable and observable. Next principle, delegate authority and impact opportunities, not just more work. Managers should not just delegate the routine work. Other important tasks, such as important meetings, the committee membership that influence product development or decision making, and the projects that people and customers notice, etc., should also be delegated. Solve problems. Don't pinpoint problem people. People and problem should be treated separately. When a problem occurs, analyze what is wrong with the work system that caused the employees to fail, not what is wrong with the people. Listen to learn and ask questions to provide guidance. Employees should be guided by asking questions, not by telling what to do. Encourage safe failure. Employees should be given the opportunity to try new things in a way that doesn't put the company in danger. Require accountability. It's important for employees to know when they are meeting expectations and when they are not. Empowerment benefits the organization in many ways. Empowerment helps in creation of an environment which encourages proactive approach to problem solving and accepting challenges. It leads to innovation and continuous improvement. Empowerment helps in optimum utilization of resources. It is an effective method of employee motivation. Empowerment leads to better business performance. It provides a sense of high self-esteem and a high degree of involvement in the organization to the employees. It provides an opportunity for personal growth and development. Through empowerment, employees get a greater sense of achievement. A network of empowered employees creates benefits like faster responses, loyal customers, and high quality, low cost products. Rate of absenteeism goes down, lowers employee turnover, better decision making, and better problem handling results, and all above factors leads to better organizational effectiveness. Now, why empowerment fails? There are many pitfalls due to which empowerment can fail. Managers pay lip service to employee empowerment but don't actually believe in its power. Employee empowerment can seem like a good thing to do, but not doing it sincerely and keeping a close check on employees and depriving employees of the autonomy leads to failure of this pursuit. Managers don't really understand what employee empowerment means. They have a vague notion that employee empowerment means you start a few teams that address workplace employee morale or safety issues. It is a wrong notion. Employee empowerment is a philosophy or a strategy that enables people to make decisions about their job. Managers fail to establish boundaries for employee empowerment. There are key areas of empowerment which need attention. For example, in the absence of the manager, what decisions can be made by the staff members? These boundaries must be defined, or else employee empowerment efforts fail. Managers first define the decision-making authority and boundaries with staff, but then they start to micromanage the work of employees. This is usually because managers don't trust staff to make good decisions. Employees know this and they either craftily make decisions at their own or hide their results, or they come to managers for everything because they don't know what they really can control. This lack of trust between the managers and the employees make empowerment a joke. Managers have the tendency to second guess the decisions of employees who have been given the authority to make a decision. Management can help staff make good decisions by coaching, training, and providing necessary information. They can even model good decision making. But unless a serious complication will result, it's not advised to undermine or change the decision that manager has empowered a staff person to make. Teach the employees to make a better decision next time, but managers should definitely not undermine employees' faith in their personal competence. Managers need to provide growth and challenge opportunities and goals that employees can aim for and achieve. Failure to provide a strategic framework in which decisions have a compass and success measurements jeopardize the opportunity for empowered behavior. Employees need direction to know how to practice empowerment. If managers fail to provide the information and access to information, training, and learning opportunities needed for the staff to make good decisions, the employee empowerment effort falls short. The organization has a responsibility to create a work environment that helps foster the ability and desire of employees to act in empowered ways. Information is the key to successful empowerment. Then managers abdicate all the responsibility and accountability for decision making. When reporting staff are blamed or punished for their failures, mistakes, or less than optimum results, the employees will automatically flee from empowerment. Or maybe employees publicly start fault finding among themselves and find the other teams to blame for the failure. Failure of management to publicly support decision and stand behind employees make the staff feel deserted, and this totally fails the empowerment effort. Managers allow barriers to impede the ability of staff members to practice empowered behavior. The organization has a responsibility to remove barriers that limit the ability of staff to act in empowered ways. These barriers can be time, tools, training, access to meetings and teams, financial resources, and staff and support from other staff members. When employees feel undercompensated, undertitled for the responsibilities they take on, undernoticed, underpraised, or underappreciated, there will be no results of employee empowerment. The basic needs of employees must be taken care of to enable employees put in the extra effort that people voluntarily invest in work. If managers dole out more responsibility than employees' positions require and cause employees to feel overworked or underpaid for the work expected, empowerment efforts get into danger. Employees want empowerment, but they don't want managers to take advantage of them. This must be ensured that the responsibilities match the job and that the person is doing the job as per the job description. Now, what are the limitations of empowerment? The major question arises: how much of the empowerment is appropriate? Too much of empowerment in the organization makes the situation chaotic, disturbed, and dysfunctional, and in turn making the leader autocratic. While empowerment grants autonomy, but it has been seen in some cases, confidence levels can be taken too far and end up crossing the line into arrogance. Arrogant employees are difficult to deal with, don't take direction well, and can become insubordinate. So we can conclude that too much or too little empowerment in a given situation is dysfunctional. Therefore, grant employees as much control over their work as they actually need. Let's now summarize what we have learned in this module of employee empowerment. Empowerment is the process of passing authority and responsibility to individuals at the lower levels in the organizational hierarchy. To achieve empowerment, managers should ensure that employees at the lowest hierarchical levels have the right mix of information regarding processes, quality, customer feedback, and events, knowledge related to work, and rewards related to business results and growth within the capability and contribution to work autonomously or independently of management control and direction. Every organization has to analyze its existing setup and work on changing it to suit the empowerment needs of employees. It's very important to decide how much empowerment is optimum for the organization. Too much or too little empowerment in a given situation is dysfunctional. While empowerment grants autonomy, it has been seen in some cases confidence levels can be taken too far and end up crossing the line into arrogance. Arrogant employees are difficult to deal with, don't take direction well, and can become insubordinate. Working in this type of work environment takes its toll on employees, and they once again becomes dissatisfied with their job and productivity levels decrease. Thank you.